Why don't you look at something? This is an old Lambert bicycle frame. I've been having a heck of a time tearing it down. Everything is rusted on. I'm having trouble getting everything apart. I'm having trouble getting this side off. Lambert is an old English model bike, and it was ahead of its time. It had sealed bearings on. There's the wheel set right there, but it had and has sealed bearings there in the hubs, and they used rather than bearings, they used needle bearings, and it was really quite advanced for its time, but it never caught on. What happened to Lambert was their first year they were in production in 1972, they made a fork that was cast aluminum, and right away it was sending a lot of people to the hospital because they called it the death fork as a nickname, but after so many, the words got around about the Lambert fork. But this is a later model. I think it's a 76. And they're only in business for 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. But this is a steel fork, so it's not that death fork that everybody talks about. And but it was left outside. This belonged to my friend who was a former bicycle shop owner. And this is the bike he and his brother used when they were young kids. And but it was left outside, and so that's the worst thing you can do for a bike is to either run it over with a car or leave it outside in the rain and snow. So yeah, so this thing has had a lot of problems. There's sealed bearings on the crankset too, but let's see. They're held in, the crankset was held in place by a what do you call it? Circlip. I'll see if I can show it to you here. You see it there? The circlip will take that out, and then you can punch out the bearing. And this one other thing that Lambert did, they made everything in house just about, and this is not tapered. Most of your bicycles made years since bicycles were made were tapered, but Lambert's tried to try something different, and they put on a straight square end here where you put your crankset. And when that wore out, since the cranks were proprietary, they were no longer good. Cranks were made by TA, French company, and but yes, I've been having gobs of problems taking this bike apart. Right now, my next job is to take that crank off and rebuild the bottom bracket. But before I do all that, I think I'm gonna paint it before I do anything else. And I got the nut off of the fork there, but the stem is rusted in there, corroded in there, and I'm having trouble getting it. I just got the handbrakes off of this thing, and the only way I could get them off, there's a I don't know what size bolt this is. You see that bolt in there? I don't know what size nut that has on it. There it is. I don't know what size nut that is, but it's not metric and it's not English, so I don't know what it is. These were made by what do you call it? Suntour. There it is. And the only way I could get it off was the hacksaw. I have a small hacksaw for bicycles, and I had to cut it on an angle and then hit it with a punch to or a chisel and spread it apart before I could get it off the handlebars. They would not move, and they were just rusted on there. The handlebar seems fine, but I have to take this apart. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck with the stem and the handlebar, and this what do you call it? It's the brake release for the front. The back ones was off. Every screw and everything on this bike was rusted out, and I just have not been able to get things apart. But slowly I'm doing it. But I have to soak this other crank arm in some solution. This where is it? This stuff here, Evapor Rust. It's a fantastic rust remover, I won't tell you, but it's really expensive. Like this, what is this? Is this a gallon? Yeah, 1 gallon. It was $30. But it's the best that I have ever found. A fellow in England turned me on to it. So yeah, so this is a 21-inch frame, measured from the top tube here down to the middle of the. And I normally ride about a 25-inch frame, but on my BMX, it's a 21-inch frame also. So I can ride anywhere from that size on up. So just have to get the right stem and the right C-tube length. And I want to show you this here. See this? This tubing is so thin. It's just unbelievably thin. I'm sure it couldn't pass a safety thing by the import. I don't know who's in charge of that, but you can't. A bicycle has to pass a safety inspection before it can be imported. So yeah, so this, I think I'm going to make this into a FIXIE, because a fixed gear bike, simply because it is so light. The frame, I don't know what the frame weighs. After I get it torn down, I'm gonna weigh this. But a lot of FIXIE frames, just the main triangle, is about 4 pounds or slightly less. So that's why I'm gonna think in FIXIE right now. But you never know what you're gonna run into. So bike is never finished. You just change the bike around a lot. But yeah, I got to de-rust this thing, sand it, paint it, all that sort of thing. But that's the project I'm working on right now. So, all right. Now, all these bikes in here, I've given away about 8, I think, so far to the secondhand store. And, but I've given away a whole bunch of other parts and stuff. So I'm trying to trim things down, because I'm 77. And I figure I don't know how many more years I'll be able to cycle or get my use out of these things. So I'm just giving them away. So that's where I am right now in this particular build. So, all right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody.